Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Okay, welcome dear devotees. So who do we have a reading order? Khyati Mataji, like to announce it?
Yes, Mataji, but Sulekha Mataji joined, so revised order.
All right, and then I see Chitra Mataji also. Varshana, Khyati,
Yes.
welcome dear Mataji. So happy to see you here.
So we will start with Vindhyavali Mataji, then Sukomal Radhe Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Suttappa Mataji, Chitra Mataji, Sulekha Mataji. Then I will read and then back to Vindhyavali Mataji as of now. Whosoever joins, I will add them between Sulekha Mataji and me.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Who is going to go in first?
Me,
Vindhyavali Mataji.
myself, Mataji.
All right, I will go in first. Okay. Mataji, break the suspense. please read. What happened?
No, Vijnapti Panchaka, 5 verses opening your mind to Radha and Krishna. Vijnapti Panchaka 1 and 2. Matsamo nasti papatma naparadhi cha kashana parihare api lajjame kim bhruve purushottama yuvatinam yata yuni yunam cha yuvato yata mano abhiramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai.
Who's next?
Bhumam skalita padanam bhumirevavalambalam tvayi jata paradhanam tvam eva sharanam prabhu. Varshana Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Govinda Vallabhe Radhe Prathe Tvam Aham Sada
Third verse,
Twadiyamiti
Mataji.
Janatu Govindo Mam Tvaya Saha. Hare
Oh,
Krishna Mataji. Sutapa Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. राधे वृंदावनाधीशे करुणामृतवाहिनी कृपया निजपादब्जा दाशामायं प्रदीयताम्.
Okay, let's do the translations now.
O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone. Sulekha Mataji.
Sulekha Mataji, are you in a position to read? If you're reading it, you're reading.
Yeah, sorry, Mataji, I can't read right now. I have some distraction here. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. So I will read in place of Sulekha Mataji. Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you. Vindhyavali Mataji.
O Srimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants. Hare Krishna. Sukala Mataji.
Yeah. O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Reflections on your favorite. Cheers.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Mataji, I really always I feel just as the ground is the only Mataji, there is no Mataji, there is that thing is coming page 1. Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you. So I always feel that whenever I put my foot on the ground, Mataji, I always remember of this since the time we started with this prayer, that, oh Lord, you are the only support. You can only support me in every condition whenever I slip. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that's a very nice thought to have. And actually, I also wanted to say that when we get up in the morning and we get off our bed and start putting our foot on the ground, then we are actually putting our foot on Mother Earth, right? And according to our philosophy, everything has a personality. So the earth also has a personality, and we read so much in the scriptures of when when there is an increase in the sinful activities here, then Bhumi gets very upset, and she feels tortured when there are sinful people walking on her all along. So, and then you will see that she will go to pray, and then she goes to pray to Brahma, and then Brahma goes to Vishnu, and then Vishnu says, all right, fine, I'll come and I'll take care of things. And that's when Krishna incarnates like that, right? So so we know that Bhumi doesn't like when sinful people are there. And in our Bhagavatam also, there are many aspects from which Bhumi is looked upon. And Bhagavatam actually opens up in the beginning itself. We see that there's a conversation happening between Bhumi and Bull, Dharma the bull. And Bhumi is also crying. And Bull is also standing on only one leg, like that. So it's a very nice conversation there. And then we have this conversation of Bhumi going in and asking to take shelter. We have a very famous episode in the Bhagavatam also about Prithu Maharaj and how Bhumi, what Bhumi does is that, excuse me, what Bhumi does is that she, depending on the level of sinfulness or piety of the people, she will reward the people who are walking her accordingly. And what I mean by that is that when there is a lot of sinful activities, then you can plant a seed and it will not sprout. So what Bhumi is capable of doing is to suck the seed very deep inside inside her, so that it cannot sprout. Because sometimes you see the seeds have to be on the top. If you bury the seed very deep down, it doesn't have the strength to come all the way out like as a plant. So we find very interesting episodes about Bhumi. And so one of the things that is said over here is that that we are saying that you are the support, right? So we are saying that Bhumi is the support. So this means that when we are walking on the Bhumi, then we are actually stepping our foot, and are we even worthy of doing that? For example, if I have you have a son or a daughter, right? And small baby, it's your own baby, and it doesn't matter whether they come and sit on your head or whatever they do. It's fine. And if it's somebody else's baby, then they cannot take liberty with your body like that. And we have the classic story of how Dhruv Maharaj wanted to go and sit in the lap of his father. So forget about putting his foot on the father, part of the body of the father. He just wanted to sit on the lap of the father, and that itself created 6 chapters. Having so many chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's a privilege. It's a privilege actually when we are able to walk over someone. Like if you're a child, then you can walk over your parents. They don't feel bad about it at all. Similarly, when we are going and getting out of the bed and putting our foot on the Mother Earth, we have to remember that this is a privilege. It's a privilege given to her by Bhumi, because Bhumi is very powerful. She can split and take us in, right? You can do that. You have so many earthquakes that happen, right? That's how. So, so we have to be thankful and grateful. So when we get out of our bed, one of the prayers that we do is to pray to Bhumi Mata, and we say, Samudra Vasane Devi, Parvatana Mandale, Vishnu Patni, Namastabhyam, Padaspasha Samashwame. It's a very good mood for us to start the day. So we are glorifying Bhumi, and we are saying that, Samudra Vasane. So you are wearing the clothes. So the oceans are actually your clothes. Like the ocean is like a sari that you have wrapped around yourself. So Samudra Vasane Devi, hey Devi, Samudra Vasane Devi, Parvata Sthana Mandale, right? So the mountains are like your chest area. And then Vishnu Patni, you are the wife of Vishnu. And Namastubhyam, so I offer my obeisances to you. Namaste. Namastubhyam, Pada Sparsha. I am going to touch you with my feet. Pada Sparsha, Samashwame. So please forgive me for doing that. So it's a very nice mood in which, for us to go and
Very nice shloka, Mataji.
Yeah.
Very nice shloka.
And then they are and the mood, and I'm just extending the class of Sukomal Radhe Mataji that you attended in the morning, and there's a very nice prayer there that Guru Maharaj brought in today, and I'm just going to start sharing with you, and let's just read it. It was such a beautiful song that he picked up from Bhakti Vinod Thakur. No one else than Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So we'll take turns. This is in Bengali language, I think. Yeah. And let's read it together. So whose turn is it to read this?
I think it's Varshana Mataji's.
Okay.
I read last.
Mataji, need to share, Mataji.
I'm not sharing it. Oh, I moved it to
No, Mataji.
what to share. All right. So Varshana Mataji will do us the honors of reading from this.
আমার জীवन सदा पापिरत नहीं को पुण्येर लेश पुरेर उद्वेग दियाची जे को तो दियाची जीवेर क्लेश. Mataji, what is the tune?
Yeah, the tune is difficult. It's long, right? So we will just read this. Otherwise, it goes, there's various ways in which people can sing it, right? So let's first read it, and then I'll give you the tune. Let's just read it plain. Yeah.
Sutapa Mataji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. নিজে সুখ লাগি পাপে নাহি ধরি দয়াহীনে স্বার্থপর পাড়া সুখে দুঃখী সদা মিথ্যাভাষী পর দুঃখে সুখকার.
It takes a Bengali to read it properly. We can't do it.
Yeah.
We can't do justice to it.
Very true.
Very good. She did very good.
Should we ask her to read the whole of it and we do the translations?
I think that's a good.
Yes, Mataji. Yes,
Okay.
Mataji. She
Because
was reading it
if
very
I start,
well.
if I start, I will start like South Indian.
Okay. Sukomal Radhe Mataji.
Okay, thank you everyone to let me read. Okay, Mataji, I'm reading. অশেষ কামনা হৃদি মাঝে মোর ক্রোধী দম্ভ ক্রোধ দম্ভ পারায়ণ মাদমত সদা বিশেষা মোহিত হিংসা গর্ব বিভূষণা নির্দলস্য হাতা শুক্রে বিরত আক্রে উদ্যোগী আমি প্রতিষ্ঠা লাগি স্বার্থ অর্চনা লোভা হাতে সদা কামী এ হেন দুর্জন সযজান বর্জিতা অপরাধী নিরন্তরা শুভ কারিয়া শূন্য সাধনা তো মানা নানা দুঃখে জরা জরা বার্ধক্য এখনো উপায়ে বিনা তাতে দিনা অকিঞ্চন ভক্তি বিনোদ প্রভু চরণে কর দুঃখ নিবেদন.
So I'll give you the tune. I'll give you the tune, but of course my pronunciation will not be the same. So you have heard the pronunciation the correct way from So Tapa Mataji. So I'll just read the, I'll give the tune for the last verse, and it's the same for all of us, all the others. Bhagya kona upaya vihina tate dina kanchina bhakati vinoda prabhura charane kore dukha nivedana. Eheno durjan sajjana varjita aparadhi nirantara shubha karya shunya sadanartha mana nana dukhe jara jara amara jivana sada pape rata nahi ko punyera lesha Parera udvega diachi je koto diachi jivera klesha. And if you want to listen to an even better tune, then listen to our recording of ISV where Avantika has sung it in a beautiful tune, beautiful tune, and I can't sing that tune. I have to tell you that. But let's look at the translation, which is even more beautiful and very deep. So now, Sutapa Mataji, we won't let you read the translations.
I think Chitra Mataji's turn.
That's okay. Who's my after my?
He's happy with her.
Chitra Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. So, translation. I'm an impious sinner and have caused others great anxiety and trouble. Sulekha Mataji.
Tulika Mataji is not here, so Shruti Priya Mataji joined. Shruti Priya Mataji, you can read, and I will change the order.
Okay, Mataji. The second verse, right? Second line.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. I have never hesitated to perform sinful act for my own enjoyment, devoid of all compassion, concerned only with my own selfish interests. I am remorseful seeing others happy. I am a perpetual liar, and the misery of others is a source of great pleasure for me.
X3. The material desires within the core of my heart are unlimited. I am wrathful, devoted to false pride and arrogance, intoxicated by vanity, and bewildered by worldly affairs. Envy and egotism are the ornament I wear.
Ruined by laziness and sleep, I resist all pious deeds. Yet I am very active and enthusiastic to perform wicked acts. For worldly fame and reputation, I engage in the practice of deceitfulness. Thus, I am destroyed by my own greed and am always lustful.
While wicked man such as this, rejected by godly people, is a constant offender, I am such a person, devoid of all good works, forever inclined towards evil, worn out and wasted by various miseries.
Hare Krishna. Sixth one. Now in old age, deprived of all means of success, humbled and poor, Bhaktivinoda submits his tale of grief at the feet of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Now here's a trick question. I want you to tell me in Sanskrit, give me one line in Sanskrit, which summarizes all that has been written here. This was a Bengali song. Sorry, I'm asking the answer in Sanskrit. But I know that you know it. You know the answer.
Is it Matsamo Nashti Papatma?
Exactly right. For 2,500 points. You did it. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it the same thing? Matsamo nasti papatma na paradhi chakaschana. all the aparadhas are listed here that we do, right? Now, I don't want you all to start confessing on Facebook, but, but this is some stuff written here for which, asks for a lot of introspection that we can do. And all these descriptions, all these nice descriptions that are given here. And this is so amazing that that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking like that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur feels like that.
Oh, he is so exalted.
Huh?
He is so exalted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he feels like that. So what should we
So
be
what
feeling?
about the rest of us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So why is it like that? And I'll tell you. I'll give you a demonstration. So Tapa, I want you to be my partner here. Can you see any dirt on this? On my jacket? You can't, right?
No,
All
it's
right.
from outside. No.
You cannot see that the jacket is dirty. There you go. Right? And now let's look at Sutapa Mataji. If there is dirt on her jacket, will you be able to see it? No, I don't want her. I want you to look at for it right now. I'm asking the hypothetical question that if there is dirt in her jacket, will you be able to see it?
Yeah, because
Yes.
hers is white, so
Because it's white.
It is white.
Immediately see it, right? If I take some black ink and I throw it here and I throw it on her, you'll be able to see it there, right? And you won't be able to see it here. And that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says like that, because they actually feel like that. So even when they do a slightest of, um, so something even slightly wrong about it, like even if they think or even a small bad thought comes in their mind, they just start thinking, oh, I've offended the Lord. I shouldn't have done that. They'll start crying like that. Whereas people who are completely black, they have no care in the world. They're happily continuing to lead their sinful life. They don't care. Because they can't see. When everything is black, what can you see? It's only when you start it becomes white and white and white and white. That is when, you start even a little spot and it'll show. Doesn't it happen with us in the kitchen? We find some vessel which had, taken the toll of time or air and humidity and all that, and maybe it's a brass pot, and it's becoming like greenish and blackish on the outside, and you take tamarind and you start, cleaning it, and then so you give 2 swipes on it and it suddenly becomes clean, and you're like, oh, very nice, and then you start looking at it. Oh no, this place, okay, this needs a little bit more touch. Okay, this needs a little bit more touch, and then you keep on 2 hours. You'll sit down to polish that. You had no problems. It was lying there for 6 months in your home. You had no problems. So the moment you start cleaning it, then you want to clean it. You want to make it absolutely spick and span. And that is how the devotees also feel. Non-devotees, they have no care. You want to learn about non-devotees? You want to know how non-devotees are?
Yes, Mataji, I wanted to ask that just a few minutes ago, you told that when we do sinful activities on the earth, though earth either take the revenge or the reward. So Mataji, what is the reward? That we can grow flowers and fruits and vegetables, that is the reward, right?
Yes, that's a reward. The food is plentiful. But whenever you say there was a good king and the food is plentiful, right? And when the king is not good, you can have COVID. And these are things, this is not just ramblings from the Shastras. These are realities. That when there is a rise in selflessness, then Mother Earth comes and takes care of, by way of tsunamis, by way of earthquakes. And it's their way of reducing the burden on Earth, like that. So, and when the king is good, when people are pious, then there is goodness everywhere. Actually, when Lord Krishna was here, the weather was very good. The weather, it was, and then out of season, the trees were giving, fruits, like that. The earth can, operate, because she was very happy. She was very happy. And actually, there's a very sweet exchange where the gopis are saying to Mother Earth, or Mother is saying about, gopis, that see, when Krishna leaves Vrindavan and he goes to Mathura, So he's separated from the gopis. But Mother Earth never feels separated from him, because whether he's in Gokul, whether he is in Mathura, whether he is in Vrindavan, whether he is wherever he is, like Dwarka, he's still touching her with his lotus feet. Right? He's always there. And then so when he leaves, she feels very bad. Mother Earth feels very, very bad when Krishna leaves and goes away. Like that. So so she'll give the reward accordingly. And that's why it is said that in Kali Yuga, because people will start to become so much sinful that grains will not be available, and people will live on each other, and parents will give birth to the child to eat it. So it's better we get out of this place before that happens in Kali Yuga. Right? And those who are devotees, they'll be just handful, and they will have to live either in the forests or they will live underground, because others will not tolerate that at all. So while we are only 5,000 years into Kali Yuga, if you're feeling the burden already, then I have to tell you that verse is to come if one pursues a demonic life, right? So what is a demonic life? Is the chapter from Bhagavad Gita today for us.
Yes, 16.
Chapter 16. And whose turn is it to read that today?
My Varshana Mataji, you read last, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Okay, let me bring it up. Chapter 16. Does anybody remember what's the name of chapter 16?
Divine and
The divine
And demon.
and the demonic nature.
The divine and demoniac nature. All right. How many verses are there in this chapter? Any guesses?
28.
Close.
24, I think.
4. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's get reading.
Mataji, share the screen, please.
Not sharing? Very bad.
No.
Very, very bad. Very bad. All right. Share coming up. Sorry about that.
Chapter 16, the divine and demoniac natures. Text 1 and 3. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Text 4. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. Hare Krishna. Chitra Mataji.
Text 5. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. Text 6. O son of Pritha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. Shruti Priya Mataji.
Those who are demonic do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. Text 8. They say that this world is unreal, no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust.
Text 9. Following such conclusion, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Text 10. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are, are always sworn to unclean work attracted by the impermanent.
Text 11 and 12. They believe that to gratify the sense is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable, bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger. They secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. Mataji, can you move it a little up, please?
Can you see it now, Madhuri?
16. You want me to read this one or no?
Text 13 to 15 you have to read.
Yeah, I did.
No,
Oh,
Mataji.
13 to 15. The
Mataji,
demonic person, who is reading?
yeah, Mataji, you read 11 and 12, and now please read 13
Okay.
and 15.
Okay, no problem. Sukamla Mataji.
Oh,
Who is reading? Me?
Vindhyavali Mataji, you read what happened. You
Okay.
always read 2 verses, right? So you do your 2
The
verses.
demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have kill him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Hare Krishna. Sukamal Mataji.
text 16. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Text 17. Self complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only without following any rules or regulations. Vashanama.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 18. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Text 19. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. Hare Krishna.
Text 20. Attaining repeated
I have to read Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mataji.
No, it's okay. Attaining repeated birth amongst the pieces of demoniac life. O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Text 21. There are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give this up, for they lead to degradation of the soul. Hare Krishna. Chitra Mataji.
Text 22. The man who has escaped these 3 gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. Text 23. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Shruti Priya Mataji.
Text 24. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulation of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated.
Fantastic. Thank you for reading. And I want you to focus on this line, right? This verse. Can somebody read it for me one more time?
Shruti-priya Mataji.
He who discards, oh sorry. Shruti-priya Mataji, read.
Text 23. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness, nor the supreme destination.
All right. Let's see. So they are obviously they're describing the demoniac. And so tell me what does the demoniac do? Just reading from this verse, just this verse, okay? And a short answer. What do the demoniac person do?
Discards
Those who
scriptural
are not.
injunctions.
Yeah, discard scriptural injunctions, right, Chitra Mataji? And?
He's imperfect.
And they act according to their own whims
Yeah.
and to gain happiness.
And greed.
Right. And then what happens to them?
Won't reach destination, supreme
He'll
destination.
go down to hell.
Okay, reach the supreme destination, right? Just stick to this verse, right? And what do they?
And no happiness also for them.
Yes, and?
Yeah, not happiness, not the supreme destination.
And?
No, neither perfection.
Neither perfection. So you see how loaded these verses are, right?
Yes.
We're talking about two things that they do. One is to discard the scriptural injunctions, and number two, discarding is one thing, and then they act according to you can discard the scriptural injunctions and then listen to somebody else, right? Sane. But no, they don't do that. They act according to their own whims and passion. So that's one thing. And as a result of doing this, what happens? Number one, whatever they do is not perfect, right? Because whatever is perfect has to be linked with Krishna. So that is not there. And then because of that, they will neither get happiness, and of course, they're not going to go to the supreme destination, right? Because he's saying that attaining repeated birth, I cast them into the various demonic species and things like that. So, and since this is Saturday, I just want this to be a fun Saturday. And I'm going to bring up a chapter here, and we'll read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which will elaborate a little bit, talking about demons and demoniac qualities. So let's hear about some of the demons here, okay? And what were the things? Remember, okay, now I want to have keepers for this, right? Two things that they do, and the consequences, the three consequences. I need 5 volunteers here who are going to take one of these, because I'm going to ask you. So he who discards, so discard scriptural injunctions. Who's going to take that?
Me, Mataji.
Okay. So discard scriptural injunctions is with Sutapa. Okay. Who's going to take the next one according to the whims and act right? Whimsically.
I'll take Bhattari according to their whims.
Varshana Mataji. Okay. And then we're looking at the 3 consequences. So they have no perfection. Who's going to take that?
I can take Mataji.
Chitra Mataji wants to take no perfection, and then no happiness.
I can take.
And that is Shruti Priya Mataji. And then we have does not reach the destination.
I can take Mataji.
Kyati Mataji is going to remember that quality of the demoniac people. Okay, now let's go and look at that verse that I brought in front of you, and I seem to have lost it. Okay, here. Okay, now we'll continue reading.
Vindavali Mataji?
No.
Oh, no, sorry, Kathy
Yeah,
Mataji.
my turn to read. So, Mataji, you want me to read this chapter from Bhagavatam, Pregnancy of the Tea in the Evening?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Text 1. Sukdev Goswami said, after hearing from the great sage Maitreya about the Lord's incarnation as Varaha, Vidura, who had taken a vow, begged him with folded hands to please narrate further transcendental activities of the Lord, since he, Vidura, did not yet feel satisfied. Text 2. Sri Vidura said, O chief amongst the great sages, I have heard by disciplinic succession that Hiranyaksha, the original demon, was slain by the same form of sacrifice the personality of Godhead, Lord bore. Hare Krishna. Vindhyavali
What was the reason, O Brahmana, for the fight between the demon king and Lord Bor, while the Lord was lifting the earth as his pastime? My mind has become very inquisitive, and therefore I am not satisfied with hearing the narration of the Lord's appearance. Please, therefore, speak more and more to a devotee who is faithful. Sloka Mataji.
Text 5. The great sage Maitreya said, O warrior, the inquiry made by you is just befitting a devotee because it concerns the incarnation of the personality of Godhead. He is the source of liberation from the chain of birth and death for all those who are otherwise destined to die.
Right.
Text 6.
So we'll just stop here. Yeah, I'm not bringing up text 6,
Okay.
but I just want, and we'll continue with you. So here, what type of a personality are we describing with respect to chapter 16 that you read in Bhagavad Gita, right? There were two types, right?
Hmm.
Chapter 16.
One is like who is faithful.
Yeah. So what is the name of chapter 16?
Divine and the demoniac.
Demoniac. Okay, so here, who are we describing here? Is it a demoniac
So
behavior?
Hiranyaksha is the demoniac and Vidura is the divine.
Is the divine. Okay, right? So you see, can you tell me some of the qualities of a divine person who's in touch with divinity? Like how Vidura here is, right?
He was never satisfied, or he wanted to hear more about Lord's pastimes and activities.
Very good, very good. So he wants to know more about the Lords. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then what happens? He's not satisfied. That is there.
He knew how to offer the obeisances because he begged him with a folded hand to describe further transcendental activities.
Mm-hmm.
So, right behavior.
Right behavior. Very good. What else? He was not satisfied.
He was very inquisitive to know the reason. So the text 3,
Right.
what was the reason, O
Yeah.
Brahmana, that one.
Right. So he's inquisitive, right? He's inquisitive. Why is it like that? Why is he going to pick up the earth from there? Right? Okay. So then inquisitiveness, the desire to know, artho jigyasu artharthis. He wants to know about the Lord. Right? Okay. And then give me some, yeah, go ahead. And then some more qualities from 1 to 4, verses 1 to 4.
He recognized that the personality of Godhead is the source of liberation from the chain of birth and death. So,
okay. So that is met.
knowing what is right thing to do. I think we read in the 16th chapter that divine, like demoniac, doesn't know what is right thing to do, what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
But one who has divine quality knows what to do and where is the right information or right source. So,
Right. Right. And then what about picking up one more quality from text number 1?
Mataji begged him, or
Yes. What quality is that?
Humility.
humility.
Right. So there's humility there. And we read in chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita. Did we hear about humility? No? Yes? No?
very first verse, Mataji.
Right? For the good people, they are humble. Okay. So then now let's go. So we'll continue with where I stopped, Sukumal Radhe Mataji.
Oh. Text 6. By hearing these topics from the sage Narada, the son of King Uttanpad, Dhruva was enlightened regarding the personality of Godhead, and he ascended to the abode of the Lord, placing his feet over the head of death. Varshana Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Text 7. This history of fight between the Lord as a boar and the demon Hiranyaksh was heard by me in the year-long echo, as it was described by the foremost of the demigods Brahma when he was questioned by other demigods. Text 8. Diti, daughter of Daksh, being afflicted with sex desire, begged her husband Kashyap, the son of Marichi, to have intercourse with her in the evening in order to beget a child. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so let's
Suttapa Mataji.
yeah, so what was the verse I wanted you to focus on from this chapter? And let me just put them side by side so that we'll read them together. We'll always see them, right? So I'm adjusting the screen here so that on the left you'll be able to see which one was that?
23 Mataji.
Right? Okay, let's bring it slightly in so that you see it like that. Okay. And on this right hand side, I'm bringing up the text so that you can always compare. Okay, so here, if I'm looking at Diti's behavior, what are the things? How do you connect Diti's behavior with text 23 in chapter 6?
She discarded the scriptural
But she
injunctions.
discarded the scriptural injunctions
Yeah.
and act according to her own whims.
Okay, and what was she acting? What was the act that she did?
She wanted her husband to have intercourse in the evening when it is not recommended in the scriptures.
So, what did she do? Tell me the action she did.
Begged her husband.
She begged her husband. Okay, now there was some begging that happened in the beginning of the chapter also, right? And you said that's a good thing.
Yes.
Begging.
Yeah.
That is humility.
That is humility. Text 1.
Humility.
So you see, begging can happen at different levels and for different reasons. Okay, now let's continue.
Text 9. The sun was setting and the sage was sitting in trance after offering oblations to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, whose tongue in the sacrificial fire.
Whose tongue
Text 10.
whose tongue is the sacrificial fire?
Okay, Mataji.
Is
Whose
not,
tongue is the sacrificial fire.
Yeah, not in, right? It means something very different. Tongue in the sacrificial fire.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Text 10. In that place, the beautiful deity expressed her desire. O learned one, Cupid is taking his arrows and distressing me forcibly as a mad elephant travels a banana tree.
Text 11. Therefore, you should be kind towards me by showing me complete mercy. I desire to have sons, and I am much distressed by seeing the opulence of my co-wives. By performing this act, you will become happy. Text 12. A woman is honored in the world by the benediction of her husband, and a husband like you will become famous by having children because you are meant for the expansion of living entities. Shruti Priya Mataji.
Text 13. In days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, who was affectionate to his daughters, asked of us separately whom we would prefer to select as our husbands. Text 14. Our well-wishing father Daksha, after knowing our intentions, handed over 13 of his daughters onto you, and since then we have been faithful.
Text 15. O lotus-eyed one, kindly bless me by fulfilling my desire. When someone in distress approaches a great person, his prayers should never go in vain. Text 16. O hero, Vidura, Diti, being thus afflicted by the contamination of lust and therefore poor and talkative, was pacified by the son of Marichi in suitable words.
Why do you think he is calling her poor?
If you are deprived of the true knowledge, or you don't use it even though you have the knowledge, then it's you're poor.
Right. So she's poor because doesn't have knowledge and nor the intelligence, right? Even if she has the knowledge to apply it.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, in subsequent verse, after the demons were about to born, she realized her mistake, right? So probably she knew, but she didn't pay attention at that time.
Yes, because you are exhibiting whimsical behavior, acts according to
Hmm.
those whims. Whims are going to come from the mind, right?
Hmm.
Every whim comes from the mind, but intelligence is above the mind, and we choose not to use it, right? That's a decision. That's a choice we always have. That's a free will we have. We can present the
Mat-
shastras, we can do all kinds of things, but finally the choice is before the soul, and soul decides what to do or not to do. Okay.
I had a question,
Mhm.
Mataji.
Mhm. Go ahead, Shraddha-devi.
Yeah. So, was I don't know those days, those times, was Diti affected by the material nature?
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, Diti is not God, nor is she an incarnation. Actually, all the demons were born from Diti. It's only later that the Maruts are born from her. That's the only time that she gives birth to devotees. It is Aditi who will have the good. Aditi is, has Indra as the son, or Vaman Dev, decides to be born through her womb, but not Diti. Diti is very much in material, in the material world.
So, Mataji, explain to me. They say that karma from your previous life, and then your actions you're inflicted with your past karmas. So Diti, those were the original living beings after the Manus. So they brought in karma also. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand.
na anto na chadir na cha sampratishta ashwatthamenam suviruna moolam. In the chapter 15, we say na anto na chadir. So we do not know the end, and we also do not know the beginning, right?
Hmm.
So, for example, we might just look at this and we might say, oh, this is the beginning, right? The universe has been created, Lord Brahma is there, and then he has his sons, and Daksha is one of them. And then, she's the daughter of one of the 13 daughters of Daksha. So it's very early in the cycle, right? Where the creation is still happening. And so, why is she like that? How much of karma could she have accumulated to become a person like this, right? So, now if we extend the timeline and try to look at what was there, what was happening, where was Miss Diti before the universe was created? Where do you think she was? Because she's a soul.
Uh, so she, so there was annihilation in the previous
Yes.
inhalation or exhalation of Vishnu.
Right.
So she carried forward that her
Yes.
soul.
Exactly.
Okay.
She carried the conceptions from her previous. So even the destruction of the universe is not going to get rid of that, the karma. Only devotional service can destroy it. So when there is annihilation, which will happen at the end of this Kali Yuga, it might be a partial annihilation though, because our Brahma is only 50 plus in age. So he has several more cycles to live. But before the whole universe is demolished. But even after the whole universe is demolished, at that time, whatever souls are there and whatever body they are there, the bodies will be destroyed, but the subtle is there, the consciousness is still there with them. Good point.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Mhm. Now whose turn is it to be?
Text 17. O affected one, I shall I shall forthwith gratify whatever desire is dear to you. For who else but you is the source of the three perfections of liberation? As one can cross over the ocean with seagoing vessels, one can cross the dangerous situation of the material ocean by living with a wife. Sukumala Mataji.
Yeah. Text 19. O respectful one, a wife is so helpful that she is called the better half of a man's body because of her sharing in all auspicious activities. A man can move without anxiety, entrusting all responsibilities to his wife. Text 20. As a fort commander very easily conquers invading plunderers by taking shelter of a wife, one can conquer the senses, which are unconquerable in the other social orders.
Hare Krishna. Text 21. O Queen of the home, we are not able to act like you, nor could we repay you for have what you have done. Even if we worked for our entire life or even after death to repay you is not possible. Even for those who are admirers of the personal qualities. Text 22. Even though it is not possible to repay you, I shall satisfy your sex desire immediately for the sake of begetting children. But you must wait for only a few seconds so that others may not reproach me. Hare Krishna. Uh, uh,
Yes, Mataji, I'll read. Text 23. This particular time is most inauspicious because at this time the horrible looking ghost and constant companions of the Lord of the Ghost are visible. Text 24. Lord Shiva, the king of the ghosts, sitting on the back of his bull carrier, travels at this time, accompanied by ghosts who follow him for their welfare. Hare Krishna. Chitra Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Text 25. Lord Shiva's body is reddish and he is unstained, but he is covered with ashes. His hair is dusty from the whirlwind dust of the burning crematorium. He is the younger brother of your husband, and he sees with his three eyes. Text 26. Lord Shiva regards no one as his relative, yet there is no one who is not connected with him. He does not regard anyone as very favorable or abominable. We respectfully worship the remnants of his footstuff and we vow to accept what is rejected by him. Shruti Priya Mataji.
Text 27. Although Although no one in the material world is equal to or greater than Lord Shiva, and although his impeccable character is followed by great souls to dismantle the mass of nescience, he nevertheless remains as if a devil to give salvation to all devotees of the Lord. Text 28. Unfortunate, foolish persons, not knowing that he is engaged in his own self, laugh at him. Such foolish persons engage in maintaining the body, which is eatable by dogs, with dresses, ornaments, garlands, and ointments. Khyati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Text 29. Demigods like Brahma also follow the religious rites observed by him. He is the controller of material energy, which causes the creation of the material world. He is great, and therefore his devilish characteristics are simply imitation. Text 30. Maitreya said, Diti was thus informed by her husband, but she was pressed by the Cupid for sexual satisfaction. She caught hold of the clothing of the great Brahmana sage, just like a shameless public prostitute. Vrindyavali Mataji?
Understanding his wife's purpose, he was obliged to perform for forbidden act, and thus after offering his obeisances unto worshipable fate, he lay with her in a scheduled place. 32. Therefore, the Brahmana took his bath in the water and controlled his speech by practicing trance, meditation on the eternal effulgence, and chanting the holy Gayatri hymns within his mouth. Sukamra Mataji.
Text 33. The beautiful, O son of the Bharata family, Diti, after this, went nearer to her husband, her face lowered because of her faulty action. She spoke as follows. Text 34. The beautiful Diti said, "My dear Brahmana, kindly see that my embryo is not killed by Lord Shiva, the Lord of all living entities, because of the great offense I have committed against him." Roshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Text 35. Let me offer my obeisances unto the angry Lord Shiva, who is simultaneously the very ferocious great demigod and the fulfiller of all material desires. He is all auspicious and forgiving, but his anger can immediately move him to chastise. Text 36. Let him be pleased with us, since he is my brother in law with the husband of his sister Sati. He is also the worshipable Lord of all women. He is the personality of all opulences and can show mercy towards women who are who are excused even by the uncivilized hunters. Hare Krishna. Mataji. Sutapa Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Text 37. Maitri said, the great sage Kashyapa thus addressed his wife, who was trembling because of fear that her husband was offended. She understood that he had been dissuaded from his daily duties and offering evening prayers, yet she desired the welfare of her children in the world. Text 38. O learned Kashyapa said, because of your minds being polluted, because of defilement of the particular time, because of your negligence of my directions, and because of your being apathetic to the demigods, everything was inauspicious. Hare Krishna. Chaitra Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Text 39. O haughty one, you will have two contemptuous sons born of your condemned womb. Unlucky woman, they will cause constant lamentation to all the three worlds. Text 40. They will kill poor, faultless living entities, torture women, and enrage the great souls. Shruti Priya Mataji.
Text 41. At that time, the Lord of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the well wisher of all living entities, will descend and kill them, just as Indra smashes the mountains with the bows. Text 42. Diti said, "It is very good that my sons will be magnanimously killed by the arms of the personality of Godhead with his Sudarshana weapon. O my husband, may they never be killed by the wrath of the Brahmana devotees." Khyati Mataji.
Text 43. A person who is condemned by Brahmana or is always fearful to other living entities is not favored either by those who are already in hell or by those in the species in which he is born. Text 45, 44 and 45. The learned Kashyapa said, because of your lamentation, penitence, and proper deliberation, and also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons, Prahlada, of your son Hiranyakashipu will be an approved devotee of the Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the personality of Godhead. Vindhyavali Mataji.
Mataji, can you move up, please? In order to follow in his footsteps, saintly persons will try to emulate his character by practicing freedom from animosity, just as the purifying process will rectify gold of inferior quality. Text 47. Everyone will be pleased with him because the personality of Godhead, the supreme controller of the universe, is always satisfied with a devotee who does not wish for anything beyond him. Sukamla Mataji.
Text 48. That topmost devotee of the Lord will have expanded intelligence and expanded influence and will be the greatest of the great souls. Due to mature devotional service, he will certainly be situated in transcendental ecstasy and will enter the spiritual sky after quitting this material world. Text 49. He will be a virtuously qualified reservoir of all good qualities. He will be jolly and happy in others' happiness, distressed in others' distress, and will have no enemies. He will be a destroyer of the lamentation of all the universes, like the pleasant moon after the summer sun. Shana Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Text 50. Your grandson will be able to see inside and outside the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose wife is the beautiful goddess of fortune. The Lord can assume the form desired by the devotee, and his face is always beautifully decorated with earrings. The sage Maitreya said, hearing that her grandson would be great devotee and that her sons would be killed by Krishna, Diti was highly pleased in mind. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Shraddha Mataji, you are on mute.
Mataji. Mute Mataji. You're on mute, Mataji.
Just one second. Sorry, my husband was leaving for to go out, and so he was collecting his keys, and also I had muted myself, because it was a noisy environment. Yeah. So I was asking you for reflections.
Mataji, in the last, before this, the reading, when Shruti Priya Mataji said, in that I was thinking of 14.2 also, where by becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. So I was just connecting it to that. You see that Diti could be in the last birth, and even the dissolution could not destroy her karmas. She had to carry
She
forward.
had to carry forward.
So I
Very
was just
nice
thinking of
connection.
that.
Yes, very, very nice connection. Yeah. Thank you.
And here, Mataji, she felt happy because Prahlad Maharaj is going to born as her grandson. So she feels happy. But I was just thinking that she's not thinking about her own sons, those who are going to trouble the whole world and the women and she's not thinking about that. She's only thinking about the grandson.
No, she wanted sons so badly, and then when she comes to
Yeah.
know that her two sons are going to be so demoniac, she still doesn't worry about them, Shraddha Mataji.
Yes.
She does worry about them. She's the mother.
But then there's nothing that says in any of the verses. I mean, she's just happy that they will be killed by Krishna. But
The normal
for someone who wants kids so badly,
Correct.
She's
Right.
smart enough to understand that she has no choice. She has no choice, right? She doesn't have any choice. She has already done this thing, and demons are going to come now. When your child is a demon, there's a they can be killed by Krishna or killed by the policeman, right? So from that perspective, she's happy on that. And
Yeah.
and one of the things that we have to also remember is that she's married to Kashyap, right? I mean, look at the sage, and look at the way he behaves, right? Your wife calls him, he goes there into a secluded place and then comes back and he's chanting Gayatri mantras,
Hmm.
right? So,
And Mataji, can you bring up text 43?
sure, Mataji.
So, Mataji, just a point with the question that why was she not unhappy about her sons being killed? She lamented. She lamented when she heard that her
Yes,
sons are
yes,
going to
yes,
be
yeah, yeah,
killed.
yeah, yeah.
But after that, Kashyapa Muni said, although they will be killed by Sri Krishna, Prahlad, who's the son of Hiranyakashipu, is going to be a greatest devotee. At that time, she felt better.
Yes.
Or
Yes, and the question that they are asking is that did she not? Why is she feeling happy and not continuing to be sad, right? And then she will continue to be sad. She will be actually very angry when her son is killed, because that's a mom. It's a mom behavior, right? There's a very nice story
It's
about
Mata.
there's a very nice story of a
Yeah.
man who was sent to the gallows, you know, and to be hung to die because of some heinous crimes that he did. And so they ask when they put somebody to death, like, do you have a last do you have a last desire? So he said, yeah, I want to see my mom. So they said, okay, good, at least he has a good heart. He wants to see his mom. So when the mom comes, mom is crying, obviously, he's dying. And when the mom comes close to him, he, cuts off her ears. And then he says that, um, if only you had heard all the complaints that people came and made about me to you, I would not be standing here ready to be hung to die. Right? But that is mothers. Mothers do not see. If people don't see any problems in any defects in the children. Prabhupada says in one of the verses, he says that a father, out of affection to his son, towards his blind son, will name him Padma Lochan. Lochan means eye. Padma means, lotus. We call him
Right.
lotus eye. People do that, right? We have this big flaw and big defect that we cannot see anything wrong with our kids. Well, the whole world will be looking at that and saying, look at that person. So yeah, and
Mataji,
yeah, so
I
she.
had a question.
Mhm.
Like, how did Kashyapa Muni know that Prahlad Maharaj is going to be born and Krishna? He seemed to
Right.
be have that transcendental knowledge somehow, right?
Yeah. Well, Prahlad Maharaj is going to be born is not transcendental knowledge. It is material knowledge, right?
Right.
So it's
Okay.
not transcendental. However, Kashyap Muni is very, very elevated. So when you reach that kind of elevation, then you become three Kal Darshi. Three means three, Kal means time. So you're able to see.
Right.
Darshi means to see. So they're able to see the past, the present, and the future. So that's why he's very easily able to predict, right? And he's also predicting that they'll be skilled by. So what happens also, one more thing to remember is that one is that we can also go and predict certain things from our knowledge of the Shastras, because they say that Sahasra Paryantam Ahar Yad Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yug Sahasrantam. So they're talking about the day of Brahma, and they say that 1,000 cycles of these four yugas, right? Satyuga, then Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. So that's one cycle. So 1,000 such cycles form one day of Brahma, and 1,000 such cycles also form one night of Brahma. So what is cycle? Cycle means something is repeating, right? You throw your clothes into a dryer and they are repeating. They're cyclic, again and again, the same thing will come up, go down, come up and go down. So there's a cycle that happens. So these pastimes, these stories and all, they also repeat. So they know that, okay, this is how it happened in the previous, because they are Trikaldarshi, because they know what happened in the previous millennium or the previous Satyuga. So they know, oh, this is Satyuga time. Okay, this is going to happen. So they're able to say that. Now, not everybody is Trikaldarshi. You have to be of the caliber of a Kashyap Muni or a Narad Muni to be able to, or Vyasdev, to be able to know that. I mean, Vyasdeva, as he was writing the Mahabharata, and Mahabharata had not happened, and he was writing it. He's able to see in the future, and he's able to write that. So So that's why he's able to tell that, your son will become that. Yeah.
So Kashyapa Muni knew when Diti was requesting for having a son. He knew that that's going to happen, and all his kids are going to, and the sons are going to create havoc. He was trying to stop, but he knew that anyways it's going to happen, right?
Yes. And you know who the sons are, right? Originally. The next chapter is going to talk about that. We'll do that when we meet next. Yeah. They are actually Jay and Vijay from Vaikuntha planet. They're going to come down here. And next chapter will talk about that. But yes. Yeah. What else did we read here about? Did we read about some other demigod here? Did we read about a demigod?
Shiva. Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva, yes. And what did we read about Lord Shiva? Some qualities of Lord Shiva. So what was happening? What was Kashyap Muni telling his wife about Lord Shiva? Right, he was saying something, right? That it's evening time, and right. Let's go and look at that.
Yeah.
He has 3 eyes and he can see it, everything through and through. So,
Okay. All right. 23 on 24, 25. So what was wrong about she trying to get pregnant in the evening? Why is it considered wrong?
Time is inauspicious.
And so in time is inauspicious means something bad is going to happen, right? So why does something bad happen?
The horrible looking ghosts and constant companions of the Lord of the Ghosts are visible at that time.
Right. So look at verse number 24. He says, Lord Shiva, the king of the ghosts, sitting on the back of his bull carrier, Nandi, travels at this time, accompanied by ghosts. Right. So he's there in that time. You're saying that ghosts are visible. But look at this phrase.
Which follow him for their welfare. Yeah.
What is the welfare? What do you think is the welfare? What is the ghost? What would be the best welfare for a ghost?
They do they do abominable things, right?
What is a ghost? Let's go to that question first, right?
Someone who has died and reappears.
One who has died and reappears. We also died and reappeared.
No, like not as a material body, but.
So what sort of a body does a ghost have?
Demonic qualities.
They have demonic.
They have demonic qualities.
But isn't a ghost doesn't have a body? They are
body, yes, correct.
So ghosts don't have a body?
Yeah,
they remain in a settled body for some time.
So they have a body then?
Before getting the near of them.
So they have a body then?
Settled body they have.
They have a settled body.
Yes,
So we should not say that ghost doesn't have a body, right? So what is death? Death is when the soul leaves the gross body and goes on, right? And then will subsequently find another gross body in the womb. Okay. Now, the way this whole world is laid out is that everybody is destined to live for a certain number of breaths. A person is supposed to take breaths. That's how life is counted, and not by years. And that is why if you learn to suspend your breath and take fewer breath or take deeper breath, then your lifespan increases. Right? So that's how the destiny. So a person is supposed to come and take certain breaths, breathe certain number of breaths, and then also suffer certain karmas and enjoy certain karmas. Now, sometimes the suffering becomes so hard and difficult to bear that what do people do? They commit suicide. Right? And so whatever was, now they are out of plan and they're out of sync with the Brahma's plan. Right? Because this person was supposed to die and then take birth in somebody else's family, and those person would be reached a certain age to be able to have kids and so on and so forth. Now you died early. What do you do? Those two, your future parents are still young kids, right? They can't produce. So it messes up with the whole thing. So that is why they say suicide is the worst thing that you can do. because you're messing up with Lord's plan, and you will end up not having a body, but your subtle body will still be there. The mind is still there. What does the mind do? It produces thoughts according to your desires. So the soul that left the body still has got desires. And what is required to fulfill your desire? What is the instrument through which you fulfill your desires?
You need body,
This
the senses.
Don't say body. Please specify which type of body. There are two types of body.
gross body.
You need a
Gross body.
grass body. You see,
Lost
you need a grass body to satisfy your senses. So if I decided to cut off and get out of this body, then I'm not going to get my next body immediately. It'll only come according to the schedule. So while you're waiting for your body, then you don't have a grass body, then you don't have a way to fulfill your desires. So the ghosts are in a very miserable condition. Why? Because the soul is left with the mind, and the mind is constantly producing thoughts about the desires which are there of the soul, and they have no means to fulfill those desires. And that's why ghosts sometimes try to enter somebody else's body, and through that body they will try to enjoy things, right? And then ghosts can be good ghosts, and ghosts can be bad ghosts also, right? So they can do good things and they can do bad things also. But the thing is that they don't have a body. And it's very important for us to have a body. Apart from enjoying, it's very important for us to have a body to be able to do devotional service to the Lord, right? For most of us. And so that is why these ghosts which are there, right, which don't have, and nobody likes the ghost, right? Right here, I'm a ghost, but you like, I want to come into your home. Nobody will open their home. They'll say, go away. Nobody likes the ghost. Nobody takes care of them. Nobody wants to be around them. But Lord Shiva is so merciful that he takes care of all of them. And they follow him for their welfare. Basically means that, they are trying to get a body, a gross body. And since they are out there in the evening times, and the evening times, it is against the scriptural injunctions to decide to have a body, to decide to have a child. And so those who are not following those injunctions, Shivji is there to make sure that one of these souls who is in a ghost body now can enter the womb of the mother and get a gross body in that form, in that manner. Okay. Now most of the ghosts are not good ghosts, so they're not good souls. So then the chances of having a bad soul being born into your home are much higher like that. Okay.
Mataji, I have a question, Astha here.
Hey,
on this.
good to hear you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. So, usually, like if we talk about the signs, whenever a mother conceives, at that time only the soul enters inside the womb, or when I heard that like in the medical sciences the heartbeat comes like after few. I do not know the exact numbers, but you might know. You obviously may know. So, what is like after a few weeks or few months the heartbeat comes into the. So at that time, like souls enter. So how is that?
No, a child is born only when the soul decides to enter. That's all. Without a child, without a soul, a child is not. Actually, I'm going to take you to the same canto, and the last chapter, I think, is the 31st chapter, where it is very clearly defined, right? And this is called the movements of the living entities. So here is saying that under the supervision, so Devanetrena, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, and according to the result of his work, the living entity, which is the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of life. So unless that soul doesn't you try whatever you may, you will not get a child, right? And so similarly, so now that is why parents go and do what is known as a Garbhadan Samskar. And the Garbhadan Samskar is that the parents and the mother will do lots of devotional service. They'll be listening to Bhagavad Gita, they'll be attending classes and this and that, right? And chanting the holy names of the Lord. They'll be doing all that. Why? Because their consciousness will become a much higher level consciousness. And a higher level consciousness, a more godly consciousness, attracts good souls to you. So the chances of a devotee being born into your home will be much, much higher, right? But the consciousness of Diti was not like that at all, right?
Okay, so it is not due to the evening time, it is due to the conscious mainly.
It is, yes, and the consciousness is bad. And then there was a time, what Chitra Mataji pointed out, that it was an inauspicious time. So the everything is now conducive, right? Your consciousness is bad, and then there are bad souls ready out there waiting to enter into your womb, like that, right? So everything is very good for a demon to be born, conducive for a woman to be born, like that. So it's a sum total of everything together, combined together.
Mataji, what is the significance of Lord Shiva going out, traveling with all these ghosts in the evening time?
To get them a body.
Is there any?
To get, so that they can get a
Just
body. Yeah.
Not any other time of the day, just in the evening?
Evening. You'd say evening is the time of mode of ignorance and ghosts.
Right. Okay. Got it.
And having said that, they are saying that Shivji is not, Shivji is, there's a very nice word that they actually used, and I thought that I would point it out to you. Am I sharing still the screen with you or no? Okay, let me share the screen. And I really liked it because we were just finished reading
No.
Words of Material Nature, right? And so here in the verse 24, it says, 25, it said, Lord Shiva's body is reddish and he's unstained. You see?
Unstained.
Means not touched by the modes of material nature. So we should not think that if Shiva is going around with ghosts and goblins and things like that, that he's bad, that he's moving around with all these people who are in the mode of ignorance, that he's bad. No, Shivji is so compassionate, so very compassionate, that he takes care of these, fallen souls that nobody wants to associate with. He takes care of them. He goes and lives in the crematorium, wearing nothing, and he's covered with all ashes that come from there. He just goes there, to take care of these kind of souls who are not going to get a body. The ghosts, the goblins, and things like that. So, very important that this human body is a very, very important body. It's a gift of the God to you. So, no matter how hard it gets, we should not give up this body. And we also have to remember that whatever kind of hardship we ever get in our life, or whatever kind of hardship Krishna gives to us, he knows that we'll be able to handle it. And that's why he gives it to us. So never despair and say, I'm going to, give up the body, because this is what happens then. And then you suffer for years and years and years and years and years altogether. Okay. So, but then the good thing is that there's Lord Shiva there. And in this chapter, in the end, there'll be a question there, right? Not in this chapter, but in the next chapter, he will ask, Vidura is talking to Maitrey. And so he will ask this question, and I'm on the wrong chapter here. I just wanted to end on a nice note so that you don't go to sleep thinking about ghosts and goblins.
That's right.
So, so there what it does is that it goes, and so they will ask this question that, so why was it? Why did it happen? And so the next chapter that we have is, after taking you to these gory details of that, the next chapter again brings a little bit of a relief. And so we must give kudos to Sukdev Goswami for presenting the content in such an engaging manner. So the next one talks about description of the kingdom of God. Right? So here the Vaikuntha planets are going to be described, and they're going to talk about how the 4 Kumaras reach there. They're small, and they're not entitled yet to go into the Vaikuntha planets, and they're stopped by the gatekeeper there, Jay and Vijay, and they curse them and so on and so forth. And because of the curse, then Jay and Vijay come down, and they are now going to descend into the womb of Diti. So all this is also arranged as part of the Leela, which is there, right? So, and it's a very beautiful description, that they'll describe here, and what is the effect that it has on the 4 Kumaras. So that is there. So as we are reading chapter 16 now, which compares the demonic and the divine qualities, we will go back and forth, and we will take refuge in the scriptures we read all these.
Yeah, it makes it very interesting.
Yeah, yeah, Bhagavatam is very interesting. Yeah. So having said that, I will have to take your leave. We will meet again tomorrow in the morning at 6:30 for those of you who are brave. To brave the morning cold and get out of your bed. Um, but it'll be a short class, like only half an hour, because I have my own class to attend, which I attend on Bhakti Vaibhav. So reading that. But
Today morning I attended for a japa session.
you did?
That's interesting that that Prabhu was talking about COVID medicine and other things, you know. Then you said, you know, that is, we can take, Prabhu was, Guru Maharaj was saying that, you know, don't take overdose like that. He
Right.
was saying,
No. He was saying that you can't, like for a medicine, you can get killed by an overdose, but you can never. But the overdose of Harinam is not going to.
Harinam Sankirtan. Yeah,
Okay,
that was very good.
All right, so now we're going to chant the Harinam, Hare Krishna mantra 11 times. Okay, so let's start now. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
All of you can unmute yourself and chant. It's good. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, 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 Hare. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Kalpatarubhyasya
Tarubhyascha kripa sindhobhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Goprimanande.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Shraddha
Krishna.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Hari
Mataji.
bol, Hari bol.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Mataji.